Countdown was a very vague channel. It was a channel that was created out of nowhere near the end of 2021 and began a 100-day countdown that would come to a close and reach 0 on April 1st of 2022, which was April Fool's Day. During these 100 days, this countdown channel attracted hundreds and thousands of people, captivated on what would happen when the countdown hits 0. It was a rickroll. Since then, many more countdown channels arise like Count Up, Countdown 2, and I'm sure there are hundreds more that were created as an inspiration. There have, however, been a few channels like what has already been mentioned that had been created before the main countdown channel, such as Counting with Gerald, which has counted up once a day since July of 2020, being at over 1,700 by the time this video is released. But one channel struck out to me, a channel that simply just looked like another countdown channel that would probably lead up to something stupid like another rickroll. The video was titled 493. It was November 30th of 2023 when I was recommended this. The name of the channel didn't seem to have anything to do with an exact countdown. I clicked on the nearly 20-minute video, unsure of what was in this video and why it's a lot longer than just a few seconds like most other countdown channels. I was greeted with faint ambience as text saying "Don't forget" would slowly fade in on screen until abruptly the text became fully opaque, revealing more text saying "We'll meet each other" as the ambience comes to a halt and a ticking sound plays followed by someone speaking in reverse. It would then be cut off a second later and reveal gameplay with commentary. More specifically, Portal the Flash version. I immediately within seconds had many questions. What was that intro? What is this gameplay and commentary? Who's speaking? And what is this channel? After about a minute, I opened the channel, unaware of what enigmatic Odyssey I was about to behold. Upon opening the channel, there is not a lot to look at. You'll notice the channel icon is the name of the channel, including the banner as well, with this green figure below it. Every video follows the same format. Each thumbnail is nothing but a black void with a number, being the title of the video as well. I checked more than just the 493 video. I checked the ones before it. 494, 495, 496. They were all random gameplay videos with commentary following the intro I explained earlier, except this someone speaking in reverse wasn't the exact same. It was different for each video. Same with what games were being played too, ranging from popular Steam games to itch.io games, or just really random games. Many varieties of comments were left on these videos where people were just about as confused as I was. What is this channel? I'm interested but don't understand. What happens when the countdown hits 0? Majority of these comments not having any replies, except for the "What is this channel" comment. There was one reply that simply stated "channel description." Without a second thought, I checked to see the about page for the channel. This channel is for two people, Table and Yellow. You two are great people. I thought, why not just help you two make it maybe faster? This channel gets fed with videos until we'll meet each other. Maybe you two can look at some videos here if you two are bored, with the link being provided redirecting to a timer of when we all meet together, being in over 490 days. I still didn't know a whole lot. Who is behind this? Who is Table and Yellow? When did this even start? I answered my last question and ultimately every other question once I sorted the videos on the channel to oldest. The first video was titled 1600, being uploaded just over 3 years ago on November 17th of 2020. The video was exactly 5 minutes long. I clicked it, assuming it was gameplay with commentary like usual, or perhaps something different, and it very much was different. The video began like every other intro, but instead the ambience never cut off, there was no ticking sound, and instead of text fading in, it was the green figure from the banner of the channel. A couple seconds in, they begin talking about how 1,600 days is a long time, nearly 4.5 years, and that it feels like it'll never be reached. This green figure states their name as Furin and comes up with a possible solution to pass the time quicker. That being Zalep, the person who runs the channel, uploads one video to this channel every day. However, each video has to be at least 5 minutes long, meaning there isn't a 20-second video like, "Hey guys, welcome to 1570, this is my bedroom and here's what I'm having for dinner and what I'm watching, okay bye." No. Every video has to be at least 5 minutes long, and the video can be about anything, whether that's playing a game, or making something, or even as basic as talking about something. But Furin states one rule: the same thing cannot be done again, meaning there cannot be 2 or more videos of the same game or topic, the exception being Fur Talks, which is what 1600 is, Furin talking.
And also stumbled upon this channel. You're welcome to go along the right. Just don't forget.
Oh, I won't. The remaining 3 minutes of the video is simply nothing but ambience. I then decided to check out the next video, 1599, and it was right back where I found this channel, Gameplay with Commentary. More specifically, getting over it as the first gameplay video. However, there was no intro, no text fade in, no ambience. The beginning of this channel didn't have an intro in each video. Each video would normally have the same description. That would also include the about in the channel description. 1598 would be another gameplay video of Not Desert Bus. I think you get the point now. I'm not going to explain or go over all of these videos, but I would like to talk about a handful of them and overall the history of this channel and its progression, I guess. The next 40 videos are the same pattern of gameplay with commentary by Zael. Especially the video 1578, where Zael, Table, and Yellow play Among Us together. Usually it's just Zael in these videos, but this video really sticks out because it tells you more about Table and Yellow, these two friends of Zael who before were only mentioned that are going to meet up well over 4 years later.
Oh, this is worse than Discord servers. They join, they give you hope, and then they leave!
The video 1556 was uploaded on New Year's Eve of 2020, being another Fur Talk. Furin announces that these 45 videos were a pilot season as an introduction, indicating that each year throughout this channel's journey is a season. The pilot season would be called Plain Safety and include the last month and a half of videos of 2020. Season 1 being the entirety of 2021, Season 2 being the entirety of 2022, and so on. With that in mind, this means these videos are labeled as episodes. The episode 1556 would also end within about 2 minutes, but instead of the remaining 3 minutes of the video being nothing but ambience like 1600 is, it is a compilation of every time Zael or someone else says heya at the start of an episode, which if you look through, they do. The first episode of Season 1 being 1555 is nothing too special, just gameplay of Devolver Bootleg. However, from this point forward, the intro that has been talked about quite a bit throughout this video is introduced here, text fading in with ambience, cut off with a tick, and a reverse message. Let's talk about that. Reversing this message in 1555 gives you 2021. The reversed message in 1554 says, "I'm going to be the very best that no one ever was." The reverse message in 1553 saying, "Hope you two have a great day," and so on. If you listen closely, Furen is the one saying these messages. As much as we've only seen Furen twice in the Fur Talk so far, they're still here in some aspect of every single episode. This process would continue with the message in 1552 saying Warp Zone, 1551 saying a Tetris. If you couldn't tell, these messages are mostly tied to the episode itself as a summary in a way, like how 1552 is gameplay of Super Meat Boy with the message Warp Zone, and 1551 is gameplay of Tetris with the message Tetris. Over the years, some people have asked if there's any story or connection to these reversed messages that may be important, and I myself haven't reversed all messages in each episode, or even just any outside of what this video has mentioned of it, so there isn't really an answer. It's possible there is, perhaps there's none, or maybe just a few. An hour after the episode 1549 was published, another episode would be published titled 1549-2, being the first episode to have a second part to it. These episodes aren't super special, 1549 being gameplay of AI Dungeon, which is an AI text adventure that sets Furin into a story with some sort of visuals. 1549-2 being a speed paint of these visuals, sort of as an extra. This would definitely not be the only time an episode has 2 parts or more in the future, like 1467, which showcased the best moments of the channel so far, except the video was converted to play on a old DS. Zael holds this lovely DS to them with many memories, and to convert and play this video on a DS is a pretty cool idea for an episode, and was one of the first episodes to do this really. 1467-2 is just the original video itself. Then 2 days later, 1465 would be uploaded with 2 more parts being 1465-2 and 1465-3. 1465 being a 2-minute gameplay video of Google Dino, although it feels more of a poem. Hang on, 2 minutes? This is the first episode uploaded to the Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other channel that is below 5 minutes. But since 1465-2 and 1465-3 was uploaded, combining the length of all 3 is over 5 minutes long, which counts. 1465-2 is Are You Kidding Me? It is simply a cover of Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley, being a Rickroll. 1465-3 is a... 3 times now has Rickroll been mentioned in this video. Like, what is this, man? 1347 is a decently special episode. It is a nearly 3-hour-long episode. As much as there are much longer ones, Furen is playing a game instead of Zaelb, or Tabler Yellow. The game being played is Pokemon Black, and this episode feels special because Furen is here for this entire video. You don't usually see or hear much from Furen, much less in a nearly 3-hour-long episode. This episode was actually released on Zaelb's birthday, but other than that, I don't believe anything really important or notable is talked about somewhere in this episode. I've never had the chance to get around to watching it, but this video is still worth talking about on the surface. 1300 may also be worth talking about due to the protagonist's name being Furen in the game Doki Doki Literature Club. As a result of this, Furen voices over a huge part of this episode, most likely not containing anything important or notable, but still interesting to talk about. 1259 is a warped episode. The episode starts with a timer and many reverse messages, being a poem from Furen. Most reverse messages are a bit difficult to understand because they're sped up in a way. This is the poem.
A game no one plays, waiting to be solved for days, wanting to be found, while darkness being ground. I hear no sound, they're not around, not played in the background. It hasn't been found, but here I am, not found. Sadly too busy to command. My voice and my sound, the days they count. They'll meet each other, and they're for another. I'm married as an AI, maybe it's for the better. Smell of letter, I know I'm no guy. Not a lot to give for prints. Watch a video for hints. The Pokemon sin. I see you in. Bye guys. /ARG.
The video overall is just weird. The timer color changes for a few seconds, the bottom half of the timer disappears for a few seconds, the number 1258 keeps appearing, along with other things like IRL names or place ad here or nope, and tiny audio snippets of past episodes. I never understood this episode and still don't, but it's fairly interesting and stands out than most other episodes. Are you serious? 1255-2. There's nothing special about 1255 on its own. As for 1255-2, instead of gameplay or anything extra, it isn't Furen, or Zaelb. It's a dark grayish figure with a timer on them, this timer being the countdown to when they meet up. This figure introduces themselves as Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other and states we've hung out a lot. They apologize for not hanging out for a couple days. This is representing these couple days that the Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other channel forgot to upload. 1257, 1256, and 1255 were uploaded on the same day, October 28th, 2021. And 1255 too. This episode is pretty important because it debuts a new character, sort of. The Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other channel itself, in a way, is a character. They've always been here, but never introduced themselves directly until now. This character also goes by an alias of Neo, and not just Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other. Same with Zaelb having another alias of Ari. I never knew, and still don't know what the meaning behind the alias Neo is. I always thought of it as an acronym like something each other, but it's probably just a coincidence. 1235 marks the 1-year anniversary of when Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other began, the episode 1235 being another Fur Talk. Not a lot is said in this episode, aside from how a year has passed and just an update overall since then. This episode is a milestone, but nothing too big. Oh. That's new. 1200 is the first livestream broadcasted on Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other, being a just about 12-hour livestream episode of Minecraft Java Edition with Zaelb, Table, Yellow, and 2 others. It is an outstanding milestone episode, and amazing that they all made the most of it. Season 1 would come to a close on the 7-minute episode 1191 on, of course, New Year's Eve of 2021. Season 1 would be called The Plane Gets Off, and the final 5 minutes would be a compilation of every time Zaelb or someone else says, and don't forget, at the end of an episode, which if you look through Season 1, they do, including Heya at the beginning of each episode, and We'll Meet Each Other, I'll See You Tomorrow after Don't Forget. Keep this in mind for later. The first 43 episodes of Season 2 from 1190 to 1148 are all Minecraft Java Edition hardcore mode episodes. Except 1160, that was Boris and the Dark Survival for some reason. It was made clear when the Don't Forget channel was started that one of the major rules is you cannot do the same thing twice, and that rule here is broken. This was Zaelb's only crucial attempt at having a series. According to the episode's description, the rules were a bit tweaked for specifically the hardcore mode episodes. After the last hardcore mode episode, Neo, or Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other, would greet you again in the episode 1147. Most of it going over everything relating to the hardcore mode episodes, and so on. During the last 3 minutes of the episode 1147, if you turn subtitles on, for just a couple seconds text will appear saying, "I am a fox, I have a passion, I have a full name. Remember my full name?" before the subtitles go silent for the rest of the episode. Furin is a fox. I'm not sure when that's said throughout this whole thing, but this is supposed to be a message from Furin. The episode 1111 gets cut off immediately with Morse code of Furin saying 1.
Hey, my name is
Someone has actually translated part of this Morse code, giving a message of, "Once upon a wonderful day. A friend said I've known him since long, said, hey, I thought they were away, but they always knew their way. About life they asked." Don't forget replied to this comment, pretty much debunking this episode or Morse code having lore and just a sweet message to these two people, presumably being Furin and Neo. 1100 is a 24-hour special where every hour of the day an episode would be uploaded, from 1102 all the way to 1124. Each episode being on average a couple minutes. The longest episode being 1123, which is 13 minutes long, and other episodes like 1110 being 15 seconds long. I need to see this.
And don't forget, we'll meet each other.
What? Really? A movie?
You've been trolled, you've been trolled.
You know what? Sure. At least it wasn't a fifth Rickroll this video. Hang on. The reverse message in 1106 says, read the first letter of each verse.
No, don't look back.
N-E-V-E-R-G. Oh boy, we're getting into triple digits real soon. 1000 is a 4.5-hour long episode of the game Undertale. Zaelp doing both the pacifist and genocide route. Neo appears in the final 2 minutes of the episode, thanking you for following their clock. They realize their purpose over the 600 days they've existed so far is quantity, and that the counter decreases every day and to do as much as possible with what they have. Without wasting any time, Neo insists to end the episode off and move on tomorrow with the next 999. Throughout the nearly 2 years the Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other channel started, a few games were made for the project, labeled as Don't Forget the Games, which would be packed into an itch.io link featuring 8 games. At first glance, it looks like these games were played on these episode numbers, but it was actually the episode numbers the games were made. If you were to go back to these episodes like 1574, you would notice the episode is revolved around creating a game, not a really good one, but still a game. The final output could then be played, mostly accessible from the description. The itch.io page would not be constructed until the episode 959, which introduces and showcases all 8 games. 2 games from this pile were actually made before the Don't Forget channel existed and were added here anyway since they were featured as gameplay in the episodes. These 2 games in the episodes being 1505 and 1504. The episode 959 features Zaelp playing each game since they never exactly played the games during the episodes they made the games. 1574 is I Quit, starting you off in a really small map with a note that doesn't do anything. There is a key on top of a box near a gate door. Collecting the key lets you unlock the gate door and... wow. 1560 is Yellow's game, created by Zaelp, but Yellow providing most of the instructions on what to do. The premise being a Japanese RPG made using RPG Maker VX Ace. You are immediately put into a battle. Upon defeating the enemy, Burning Elmo, you are able to proceed and interact with the map a bit, before entering a door, inevitably being locked in and forced to battle Worm on a String who says meep. After defeating Worm on a String, you win. 1531 is The Big Day, created in Batch Game being a text adventure. You are on a train and eventually get out, the 2 options being left and right. If you choose to go left, you walk downstairs and out of the train station before then being greeted by their friends where they finally meet after 4 years of waiting, being a reference to when they meet up. This is the good ending. Apparently there's a bad ending, I guess. If you instead go right, you end up buying stuff for 2 hours before leaving the train station and their friends are not there. Okay, sure. 1511 is 5-Minute RPG, also made using RPG Maker VX Ace. The game name is 5-Minute RPG because it was made in quite literally 5 minutes by Zaelp. This time you are by yourself going in the store for groceries before questioning what's going on and being put into a battle with ghosts. This battle is decently hard, and upon winning, that's pretty much the entire game. 1505 is one of the 2 games that were created before the Don't Forget channel, simply being titled Game. This is the first game that Zaelp has ever made dating dating back to 2018. For some reason, this immediately reminded me of that one Super Meat Boy level in the hospital. I'm not sure if that was an inspiration or just me. This game isn't that long at all, and it's pretty clear what the objective is. Getting hit results in a jump scare, and near the end of the game, you are required to quickly press the end button at the top left before being hit and jump scared. That's the entire game. 1504, being right after 1505, is the second game that was created before the Don't Forget channel titled Finn und der Krieg Remake. You can play single player or multiplayer, multiplayer realistically being easier. You play as Finn with arrow keys in single player, and your objective is to collect the coins without touching a demon. Doing so takes you to the next level, there being 8 levels in total. The final level being much different than the other levels, with the background being a different color and a much larger demon that goes everywhere around the map. You're greeted with a message after completing the final level saying, "Congratulations, you saved the world," as multiple soldiers bounce around. You can also play as a soldier in multiplayer using WASD keys. The soldier can kill the demons, making it easier for Finn, however the soldier cannot grab the coins. In the final level, if the soldier attempts to kill the much larger demon, they will die, making it a much bigger threat overall. 1374 is Spoopy Maze, being a parody to Scary Maze Game. There are 4 levels that gradually become much harder than Scary Maze Game itself, and by the time you actually complete it after however long it takes, there's no reward. You've wasted your time, and there's not even a jump scare. Like, sure, maybe a rickroll would have been funny, but the fact that throughout completing Spoopy Maze you're under the influence, there's most likely a jump scare just for it to never exist? I found this to be pretty funny. 1351 is Dutchland 2023, which starts off by insisting you to spread the game for everyone to play it. It really wants you to. Eventually there's dialogue, like some kind of story about how Germany is ruined from bad things being distributed everywhere. So Manuel steps in, who exterminated Spain apparently, and I believe you play as Manuel? If it isn't obvious, this is a parody of Hong Kong 97, which I don't gotta go into. That's pretty much it with this game, aside from the gameplay, I guess. That concludes the episode 959, since this was the last game mentioned, although 2 more games were created a while after the episode 959, 953 being Pong Advanced and 792 being Announcer List plus Zaelp Killstreak Pack. Pong Advanced features 5 modes: Classic, Pong Moving, Brick Breaker, Bot, and Ultra. Classic is just classic Pong. Pong Moving, you can move the paddles horizontally. Brick Breaker is Brick Breaker. Bot is just playing against a bot, and Ultra is pretty much chaos. 792 isn't exactly a playable game, but more of a sound pack for killstreaks in Team Fortress 2, all voiced by Zaelp, including a list. Sure. Inside the RAR file, there is a picture of Zaelp with a mask on a table in front of them. Their face is not in the frame, but one of the first in real-life appearances of Zaelp. This picture is also shown in the last half of the episode 792. Hello, 2 more games were created as of editing this video, and I'd like to include them as well real quick. 25-2 is 5-minute game, which is really the same thing as 5-min RPG. It was made in 5 minutes. But there's a reason it's the same thing. I'll talk more about it once we actually reach 25-2. The last game overall is 10-min game on the episode 16, which is, again, the same thing. There is a reason why it was made in 10 minutes, but of course I'll talk more about it as well once we reach 16. And that's all from Don't Forget the Games. It may not sound like a lot for a nearly 4.5-year journey project, but it seems interesting to mention and talk about each game that was made for this project, even if it's not the best. The episode 890 starts off with an audio file on Zaelp's desktop named The Call before immediately being cut to black. Static begins playing a few seconds later following a warning, "Don't forget the warning," with a date being the same day as the episode was released, 28th of October 2022. Eventually the text changes, making a statement to refrain from being a character for some points, and failing to do so will make you look like these before and after pictures of Furin, Neo, and Shadow People. Unsure of who the Shadow People are, the static becomes louder along with visual changes before cutting to black in a close-up of their face, whispering whilst the subtitles is nothing but a smile before cutting back to the warning to refrain from participating in the Halloween event, and that Ari can do it themselves before being cut off, just for things to go haywire a few seconds later and eventually show another warning, this time with the date 3 days later on Halloween. Another Halloween incident happened apparently, Furin taking their own life on that day. A lot more being said is redacted and are then told to alert and inform form Torva, a character that has not yet been seen or introduced yet. It cuts to silence a few seconds later before soon these shadow people appear, greeting the world as their name is Redacted. We are their new friend and that they have control over the Don't Forget channel, claiming this episode 890 is the best episode on the channel. They ask to not be told on about where they are or else they'll go away. It cuts off, then returns to the normal state at the beginning of the episode, this audio file on Zaleb's desktop. They open the audio file, beginning with an incoming call on Discord. The other person picks up as everything slightly corrupts for a moment. Neo asks if they're doing alright and hoping it's not too late. Furren responds saying it isn't too late and they're doing alright. Neo acknowledges that they were too harsh on Furren, saying they're sorry before Furren cuts Neo off saying it's alright, it really is. Neo says they have to get along someday before being interrupted again that it's alright between them and assures that. Neo asks to come over and do something together and Furren agrees. And the call ends and the episode basically ends there. The next day, the episode 889 goes over a Reddit post on the Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other subreddit. A throwaway account posted about something weird that had happened on the episode 917. The episode 917 is a nearly 7-minute episode released on the 1st of October of 2022 reading the Tails Doll creepypasta. It's not exactly a normal episode with gameplay or anything, but not too abnormal compared to what has been talked about throughout this video so far. The throwaway account explains they found this channel not too long ago and watched 917 when it just came out. According to this throwaway account though, the episode was a blank 5-minute video, and the intro is described a lot differently than what the intro of 917 is now. At the time, the Don't Forget channel only had around 40 subscribers, which is insane to me that it only had that few at the time. The subtitles at the end of the video was a Mediafire link to an exe file called Unus Redacted. Just a minute ago, we went over many games Zaleb has made, and it's likely this may be one of them too. Perhaps this was a Halloween special. The throwaway account provided a screenshot of the exe file followed by mentioning they had a recording of this too, but all of the footage ended up being lost. The reason why will be said soon. 15 minutes had passed and the throwaway account noticed the 917 episode was uploaded 1 minute ago, but the page was refreshed prior. They clicked on the episode and then it was the nearly 7-minute episode reading the Tails Doll creepypasta, what it is today. This throwaway account then opens the Unus Redacted exe file and they go in detail about everything they saw in this exe file, which I won't fully get into. If you'd like, pause to read this explanation. Now is your chance to do so. Once everything had passed, there was nothing more after that. Astonishingly enough, if you check the release date of every episode using external tools, they always release on an exact hour, usually the same hour of day every day. If you check the release date of the 917 episode, you'll notice it's actually uploaded 15 minutes later than the episode should have been uploaded, just like the throwaway account said. So, is any of this actually true, and did this actually happen, or what? It's likely since this appears to be a creepypasta, it isn't entirely real. It's possible Zaleb could have spent hours of their day just creating a throwaway account on Reddit to post an elaborate plot on the Don't Forget subreddit as a Halloween-related special. And you know what? I like that answer. It's Halloween of 2022. The episode 887 releases and is what appears to look like a story. Everything appears to be written out, including the intro following the name One Fateful Miserable Night. Neo checks on Furren about the art contest preparation. Furren responds good as they ask Neo if they'd like to see how Furren's poem is going. I'm sure the poem is going great. We get a proper introduction to Torva, who was previously mentioned in the episode 890 and seems to be one of the only appearances throughout this entire channel. Furren eventually finishes their poem and presents it to a stage. People then boo Furren. These people almost looks identical to the shadow people seen previously. Neo looking confused, Furren runs home, in distress, crying. Neo calls Furren. It's too late. I'm sure the call from 890 has a connection here in some way, but this is how the episode would end. The episode 872-2 is a little under a minute long, being a thank you for hitting 540 subscribers. I'm probably missing an inside joke. Don't forget we'll meet each other is not in ARG, according to the text, before barely flashing some entity and replacing ARG with R for a frame. 870 is the 2-year anniversary of when Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other began, basically being another update or progress report like 1235. 826 would be the final episode of Season 2 on New Year's Eve of 2022, Season 2 being called Turbulence. New rules would be added, like how the every episode must be at least 5 minutes long rule exists. These new rules being each episode must be 1440p in quality, and any English subtitles that are manually added must include German subtitles too. For context, Zaleb's native language is German. Furren realized their purpose during these seasons, that being quality. In Furren's opinion, quality is better than quantity. They bring up, though, how quantity is important for the clock and Zaleb's sanity, leaving off with the statement,
I'm sure we're going to have a nice time until me, this cloak fellow person, and don't forget it's gone.
Over the last half of the episode is a compilation of every time Zaleb, Yellow, or someone else says, we'll meet each other at the end of an episode. Do you see the pattern now? The episode 795 is an ambient song for the project, or clock, titled The Concrete Walls Are Just Nicole by Zaleb. Furren and Neo can be seen on screen throughout the entire episode, yet nothing changes and nobody speaks. It's nothing but this ambient song with the clock ticking ear by ear, second by second. The intro and outro still existed with Zaleb saying heya and don't forget we'll meet each other, I'll see you tomorrow, like every other episode. The episode 777 is very unique. There happens to be 4 chapters, the first one being a fur talk. Furren can be seen missing an eye, which is not directly stated unless you pay very close attention. For a few frames, some text in this redacted name entity would flash. This flashing text would say 781:38 and 791:215 and 317, hinting towards timestamps on those episodes. Going 2 minutes 55 seconds in the episode 791 will flash this redacted name entity for a frame with text saying, I am better than this person who exploits their friends. A little over 20 seconds later, at 3 minutes 17 seconds, this entity and text would flash again for 1 frame, saying go to wordpress.com/post/forgettheblog.wordpress.com, don't put a timestamp into the comments about this, please do this. Then going 38 seconds into the 781 episode flashes a couple times showing the entity and website again and text saying if no one will go on that link, there will be consequences to Furren. I will be noticed. Back to the episode 777. Zaleb's favorite number is 5 and 777. Furren goes on about this 777 number for over a minute before being cut off with the previous messages in the 781 episode with more text saying you wanted a serious ARG and yet you ignore me. You think I bluff, thing will for now reverse back to normal. If you still don't go, Furren will go blind forever. Go to website and comment to be sure that Furren will keep their eyes before immediately cutting to chapter 2, Nicole and Creativitate. This segment of the episode is about Zaleb talking about how they always thought they needed to do stuff in Unity, Unreal Engine, GameMaker, anything pretty advanced to really make something good. Zaleb didn't believe in this as much anymore once finding out that the game One Shot was created using RPG Maker XP. Throughout this video, you've seen RPG Maker in some way quite a bit, like in Don't Forget the Games like I Quit, Yellow's Game, 5 Minute RPG, and so on. As much as Zaleb doesn't know how Java works or C++ and barely GameMaker code, Zaleb still made games. Chapter 3 would flash a lot of text in the course of half a second saying, who am I? Please, I plea. I feel fantastic. Please stay with me. I am an ARG. Please solve me. I look marvelous. Please like me. I have an interesting personality. Please research me. I sound cool. Please listen to me. You are in depth. 777 is my favorite number. You will go to slumber. You will feel regret. Before again, immediately cutting to chapter 4. Danke and thank you and gracias. Neo would appear and talk about how the thought of 1,600 days is an eternity, yet we're over the halfway mark now. Neo commenting the concept of it is scary but cannot be changed. The clock cannot be stopped. This chapter name would be dedicated to Zaleb, Table, and Yellow, and everyone else for watching, for giving Neo a purpose, before the episode ending with,
And don't forget, we'll meet each other. I'll see you tomorrow.
I've always found the episode 606 to be interesting. 6062 is actually a re-uploaded version of the episode 617 due to Zaelp accidentally face revealing in the last few minutes of the episode. I find this to be interesting because the episode 617 was uploaded on Zaelp's birthday, and it currently being the longest episode on the channel, being just about exactly 12 hours. Zaelp plays a variety of games throughout this episode that are all original, sort of as a birthday watch time generator according to the episode's actual name. During the last few minutes of the episode, Zaelp would announce they're 21 years old and can legally drink, before cutting to this for the final 8 minutes. This episode has somewhat stuck with me. It just stands out a lot more than most other gameplay episodes. You sure it ain't no Hong Kong 97? 522 would be uploaded on Halloween of 2023, being a gameplay video of Base 64 that decoded is Road to Halloween. This game appears to be created by Zaelp upon first looking due to the description including a Mediafire link of a 96 megabyte RAR file named Redacted Game, which was also made in RPG Maker. Upon launching the game, you are required to give your name and favorite thing. After doing so, you are in a room as a black being. There are a few things you can interact with, such as the TV saying it plays content with freedom in mind, the computer saying 312, and choosing a selection of clothes. Upon going outside, a text label will appear saying survival is the fittest, this world is cruel, but also mysterious. You cannot go back in where you just were. The closest thing you can interact with is a shop that only allows you to sell items. The current items you are able to sell is a random static kind of item that hopefully isn't a QR code, and if you use it on yourself, you die. Selling it gives you 25 euros. You can also sell the clothes you decided to select earlier for a few more euros as well. Once you leave the grassy area, an enemy can encounter you at any given moment. Kinda like Undertale. There are 3 different enemies you can randomly encounter. 7777, Void Person, and that. 777 being the deadliest one. This name can be deciphered using Caesar Cipher, giving the name Go To Title Screen. Not sure what that's supposed to mean. Your best case scenario of these battles are to attempt to escape. Really, it is your best bet. Most of the time you can successfully escape from Void Person and Go To Title Screen, but 7777 sometimes takes a few tries and can kill you. You will notice more black beings around the map that you can speak to, one of them saying welcome Redacted with open arms, and Redacted loves you. There's another shop where you can buy items to heal yourself and remove the death effect. The further you go, the deeper the black beings' sayings are, such as I might cry and if you knew Ari, you'd hate them. If you knew Redacted, you'd be best friend. What's interesting is one of the black beings say there are secrets, a lot of them, find them. Can you take a guess why this chapter is so long now? You reach another shop, except it's actually a save point, which is really useful because you're not even guaranteed to survive making it around the map every single time. So of course this is the only save point in the game. Eventually you reach someone who isn't a black being named Alex, who is talking to another black being. Alex notices you and greets you. You are given 2 options to respond, either one leading up to Alex thinking you're a human. Alex insists on joining you because of how dangerous it is out there. An add-on shop is near you with items in store such as more EXP when defeating an enemy, more euros when defeating an enemy, or half as many random enemy encounters, or even none. The shopkeeper says, remember, Ari is only out for the watch time, I am out for entertainment, as other black beings around say Ari is insane and I love you, before reaching a weaponry type shop. A text label suddenly appears saying I'm broken as Alex becomes confused. The text label is then loaded with hashtags. The Roblox filter got him. The screen then goes black with dialogue saying, may they help me, if there is a god, this could be the end of me, please, anything, I would do anything to get attention. I cannot be stopped, I will not be stopped, I am unable to be stopped if anyone is listening, before cutting back to normal. Alex asks if you're alright, being given multiple options to respond, all pretty much leading the same dialogue. The weaponry type shop has a knife and a gun, the gun being really expensive but the knife being pretty cheap, which will be really useful to actually kill any enemies. You could barely even do it without a knife. There are 2 paths to reach a certain point, one path being much shorter, but you are then interrupted with a text label of a new character speaking in Base 64. It deciphered saying enter 2020 to fight Redacted, and why are you wasting your time? Alex asks you what's going on, giving you 6 more options to respond, all leading to the same dialogue except for the last one in Base 64 saying 2015. Selecting this option will turn Alex into a black being and be fully unresponsive. You can walk through him and can't interact with him at all, so so don't choose that option. By this point, you will have found what appears to be a house with quite a few things to interact with. The TV saying it plays Stranger Than Fiction, in a cabinet for giving you an item called Love for health, a computer that is turned off, in drawers giving you an item called Freedom, and a message of 1957. This will be important for later. You can see an inaccessible room with a character in it. If you look closely, it's the same character we saw just a minute ago. The door to directly get in is locked, your only other path being another door leading to another room. There are many trees having nothing but an apple in one of them and a bunch of bookshelves, each having a note, which I won't read all of them, but I'll put all of them on screen. However, there is something important in one of these notes. 1:28:45. This will also be important for later. I know when to dodge when you stab me in the back. Why is there nothing here? Anywho, the next room doesn't have much in it aside from a locked door with a computer, TV, and 2 bookshelves behind it. When trying to open the next door, you are required to enter an 8-digit password, being a combination of 2 passwords. This is where the 1:28:45 note and 1957 message comes in. The next door taking you to the room seen previously with this new character. Upon interacting with them, they ask to battle, and let me tell you, you cannot win. Hello, I don't usually do post-editor messages. You can. If you kill a bunch of enemies with the knives you bought, you'll have enough euros to buy the guns, being able to kill Ira, like, easily. This goes with pretty much the rest of this chapter, because there are a lot of points where I say it's not possible to kill whatever, but if you spend about an hour doing so, which I did, it does take a while, so that's all. If you attempt to go back to the title screen, instead of confirming with yes or no, yes is replaced with 13546792, being another code for something. If we go back a little bit, we can find a door that leads to a big room. You cannot back out with the text label saying you need to talk to it, it's lonely. Talking to the black being says I'm different, which is the first time an audio is really triggered with this type of stuff. Speaking of audio, the only thing you hear throughout playing this game is ambient wind kind of noises. Over time, it feels more daunting and terrifying. There are a few things you can interact with here, having text like he was number provided with hundreds of hashtags, he was number 3, he was number 2, and he was number 1. The last things you can interact with here are cabinets and a TV. One of the cabinets saying yummy, and the TV seems to be broadcasting 852 and 777. We already talked about 777, and it's pretty odd it was mentioned here, and I don't even know why 852 is mentioned. The 852 episode has nothing off about it. It's just gameplay of Beat of the Dead Horse. Trying to enter the other door in the room requires a 3-digit password. Entering the code 312 from the computer at the beginning of the game lets you back out, giving you text saying 5 out of 9 equals B. A couple more doors can be interacted with throughout the map, mostly saying locked forever, except for one door which requires another 8-digit password. The code that was found when attempting to go to the title screen would be used here. Entering the door brings you to a very large black void room. Trying to exit will not work. After walking around for a bit, you are likely to stumble upon stronger void people. You can easily avoid them though. There is nothing to be found in this very large void room aside from stronger void people, a shop with 2 items being a toy shield and password. The description of this item being 01102022, which may refer to the date the 1st of October 2022, when the 917 episode released. After closing the shop, the text label says 6 out of 9 equals Y. Throughout this very large black void room, you are able to stumble upon Neo. Interacting with them shows a note on screen being a poem. The first letter of each line spells out hello world. After reading the note, you are put into battle with them, which you most definitely won't survive either. Furin can also be found throughout this map. When interacting with them, they say I'm sorry Furin before being put into battle. I'm pretty sure it's actually possible to kill both Furin and Neo here because there's another door in this void room being the exit door. There's a black being blocking the way that tells you to kill Furin and Neo before coming back and answering a couple questions, then can you leave. Killing Neo rewards you 1600 EXP. Ah, I see what you did there. After going back to the black being once you have finished killing both Furin and Neo, the black being asks, what's your favorite Don't Forget episode, providing 6 answers, all in which this redacted entity is featured in. 682 caught me off guard. I went to check out 682, but nothing about it seemed off until the last couple seconds. There's also 7777, but I don't believe that's an actual episode. Maybe. I believe every answer to this question is correct, no matter what. The next question saying, what is the most important thing in making things, the correct answer being freedom. Selecting quality or quantity, or really any wrong answer throughout this, just requires you to do the questions over again, not a really far setback. The final question being, do you love me? I kid you not, when writing this script, the only thing I didn't test is saying no to this question, and the game closes. I'm not even kidding, it happened while I was doing this. Dude, I didn't know it would close the game. That's the one thing I didn't say no on, and that's what closes the game. I have to do this all over again. Oh my god. That's actually insane. That's so cool though, but like terrifying, dude. What? What do you mean? You just kill me for that reason? When saying yes, the black being will say good, perfect, before disappearing, allowing you to exit this large void room. Because you killed Furin, you are now able to go to the top right of the map and pass it, except you have a couple questions to answer. The text box says you killed Furin and don't forget, before then being asked, what is my purpose? The correct answer being freedom. The next question asking what Table said exactly 20 minutes into the first deleted podcast episode of Don't. How are you supposed to know this? Thankfully, you're able to just guess without any sort of punishment, the answer being to the west of Spain, with the probably last question asking what is Ira's favorite thing, giving you a text box to enter an answer. I don't know the answer to this question. When getting a question incorrect, your character will back up. During this question, your character doesn't, meaning even if you get this incorrect or don't know the answer like me, you can just skip this. The only stuff here is a sign, cave, and shop. The sign saying mandatory villain that every story has to have, and the shop having perfect head and body defense gear, and weapon 1, but it's a lot worse than the gun. Entering this cave shows this redacted entity unable to go back now. Going forward will put you into battle with redacted themselves, before giving a monologue of let's battle. I mean, every good game needs a good final boss, right? I'm the final boss of this. Am I the antagonist? I wouldn't say I'm the antagonist. I am your friend. You had fun, right? I'm someone to have fun with. The stats redacted has is insane first of all, and all related to 7 of course. I don't think it's possible to kill this thing. I have spent over a dozen hours on this game alone about everything, and spending about an hour on this boss and have gotten nowhere close to winning. Even cheating throughout this entire thing leads to a blank slate. So either 1, this isn't possible or isn't meant to be possible, or 2, I'm just missing something very crucial to actually progress. Something I noticed is in the Don't Forget episode 522 where Zale plays this redacted game, they set their name in-game as Ari, which throughout the episode, the game acts slightly different than what it does normally. If you set your name in-game as Ari, most dialogue is different. Most black beings throughout the game talk about Ari, and since you're playing as Ari, they say a lot more harsh things such as no one is rooting for you, and another saying why even bother trying, you are a disappointment, no one watches Don't Forget because of you, they watch it because they think it's an ARG. Your player stats are even worse when playing as Ari, and Alex isn't even around, making this game much harder. You can't even equip any add-ons like encountering no enemies. There's no major answers when it comes to progressing throughout this game and solving anything, even when it comes to playing as Ari. If you play as Ari, you're able to pass the you didn't kill Furin point at the top right of the map without having to go through the hassle of it normally, possibly going under the assumption that Ari killed Furin and maybe even Neo. Setting your name to Zale is just about the same as playing as Ari. Entering Furin, Neo, Yellow, none of those names do anything either. Same with 2020. I also learned this Ira character may be the exact opposite of Ari. Like I said earlier, I haven't gotten around to a lot of things here and haven't gotten the chance to fully explore this game in its entirety. I'm sure it may be possible to kill Redacted if you put enough time or thought into it and make it further, since these 5 out of 9 equals B and 6 out of 9 equals Y puzzle things were never completed or solved, perhaps spelling out a 9-letter word and the 5th and 6th letter is B and Y. I'm sure there's more than meets the eye, but the fact a singular random Don't Forget episode was uploaded on Halloween that on the surface seemed pretty unique turned into its own in-depth chapter that isn't even fully solved and finished. The episode 505 is the 3-year anniversary of when the Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other project started.
This we will meet. If of course things don't get in between or something bad will happen that time. And if, well...
Furin comes up with an idea to keep the idea of Don't Forget going post-mortem, where every 17th of November, everyone makes an at least 5-minute video for your closest friends in the style of Don't Forget, like a tradition.
Yellow table. Thank you two so much for being friends with Ari.
Season 3 would come to a close on the episode 461 on New Year's Eve of 2023, the third season being called Rising to the Clouds. This is our peak height. The only notable thing really being talked about is the every episode must be 1440p rule being removed. The other 8 minutes of the episode is a compilation of every time Zale, Yellow, or someone else says, "I'll see you tomorrow" at the end of an episode. We're getting really close. Really close. 444 is a strange episode. It's gameplay, but instead of Zale or Yellow playing and commentating, it's Furen and Neo, both of them taking turns playing the game Counter-Strike. The one that released in 2000. Furen and Neo get into a bit of an argument and have a different opinion of these episodes being classified as videos or episodes. This goes with live streams being called specials and shorts as extras. Neo mentions Furen has a limited amount of time left on the clock to do scrapped ideas they have before Furen interrupts them, being harsh not to remind them. Furen wants quality over quality, as for Neo it is vice versa. This episode feels more of character development between the two and no actual lore or ARG that has been scattered throughout this video so far. And now we reach the final year, 365. 2 episodes released on this day, 365F and 365DF, meaning forget and don't forget. In 365F, Furen recaps again that there is 365 days left, 1 year left, contemplating if that's still a lot of time. It feels like the end, as much as Season 4 isn't over yet, and eventually the final season that will be cut short, but there's still 1 year left. Like Unus Annus. Hey, it only took nearly an hour of this video to mention. If it wasn't obvious, Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other is heavily inspired by Unus Annus. As a matter of fact, the Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other project started 3 days after Unus Annus died. So sure, you can say Don't Forget feels like a ripoff of Unus Annus, just without the content and everything being deleted when the clock hit 0. Furen thanks everyone who has joined along this journey, liking and commenting on these episodes, especially Table, Yellow, and Ari. The episode 365DF features Neo instead of Furen this time. Neo is honored to have everyone in this small but lovely community. Neo then gets to the topic to the episode itself, 365 days left. Instead of contemplating that it may or may not still be a lot of time, Neo harshly admits that it is in fact not a lot of time. Neo recommends the viewers to check out and watch the episode 6062 fully, which is mentioned quite a few times throughout the Don't Forget channel as a way to support Zalep and this project and to help get into the YouTube Partner Program. The episode 6062 was mentioned earlier in this video as well. Neo also thanks everyone who has joined along the way, like Furen said, especially Table, Yellow, and Ari as well. 162 is a pretty special episode because you can choose your own host to watch on the game Buckshot Roulette by Neo, Furen, Zalep, or Yellow. It states you're allowed to watch all of them, but for my own authenticity, I only decided to watch one of them. I won't say which one. There's another episode just like this on the episode 458 with 2 perspectives of Lethal Company, one being Zalep, who is new to the game, and the other being Yellow, who has watched a few playthroughs having some bit of experience. This almost reminds me of those choose your own adventure videos. Oh, and guess what? Don't Forget has 3 Choose Your Own Adventure episodes total. The first one being on the episode 1327, where you control Zalep in the Stanley Parable Half-Life 2 mod. The episode 1114, where you're forced to pick a left or right door 3 times and there's only one correct path, not revealing if you were correct or not until choosing the last door. And in the episode 960, you control Zalep again, but in the regular Stanley Parable. I won't do an analysis on these Choose Your Own Adventure episodes, and will instead let you find more out about it by playing and checking them out yourself. The episode 159 is a regular normal gameplay video, aside from the fact the game being played is named New Tab by Redaction. That can't be good. The game labels itself as a scary walking simulator that is relatively short. There is not a lot you can interact with and do before walking down a hallway as a loud sound plays, then being jump scared a couple seconds later. The game proceeds to full screen and say thank you for playing my game, followed by your username on your PC. There's nothing to interact with now aside from waiting as this entity slowly appears vaguely with credits saying to check out their other games, as the game closes a few seconds later. Going to this itch.io page discloses 3 games. one being the new tab game we just played, which doesn't have a download link to play, the Redacted game, which had its own long chapter, and Explore. Explore is not as long as the Redacted game. To quickly summarize Explore, it is a first-person game that pretty much gives off Doom vibes. Your objective is to find a key which is found in the middle of the level, then going to one of the many exits around the level that look like this. There are no enemies, but you will find some peculiar things while going through the level, but once completing the level, that's pretty much it with the game. There is a second level, however, there is no way of progressing. At most, there is some door you can interact with, and that's it. This blog website has been displayed a bit redundantly throughout this video, and going to it has a lot of messages dating back from January of 2023. Don't forget, we'll meet each other saying it's the anti-hello world, since I'd rather not be on this website. I don't know what I'm doing here. Before a few days later, Redacted would take over saying, I guess this is simply trash, made to be thrown away, so much wasted potential. I might actually shed a tear, so sad, boo-hoo. Every day, Redacted would comment many things. Some of these actually being in the Redacted game later that year. Exactly 1 month later, Redacted would stop posting every day due to literally nobody viewing these posts at all. Nobody found this at the time. Redacted would still leave some comments over time, but nothing too substantial. There's not a lot of Don't Forget episodes that I somewhat heavily look back upon or have some kind of connection with, but the episode 142 is one of those episodes. The environment of the room Zalep is in is very comforting, and Zalep talks about Unus Annus, this episode releasing exactly 4 years after Unus Annus died. It's scary to think how long ago that was, and soon to be half a decade. Zalep doesn't feel like they've accomplished as much in these last 4 years with this project than the 1 year before where they all hung out. Maintaining a project this gargantuan for over 4 years is challenging, especially when life is intricate and convoluted. Zalep is 22 years old, yet they're still learning how to figure everything out, and it's not thrilling, but everyone has to. This episode has stuck with me for a bit, and I think many others would agree as well. I believe there was a Fur Talk or something else throughout the Don't Forget channel that asked something along the lines of us, the viewer, maybe having a favorite episode throughout this journey, one that stands out more than the rest, and I suppose now is the best time to talk about that. 1396 is a regular hour-long gameplay episode that doesn't appear to stand out from the others, the episode only having 15 views at the time of when I and a couple friends watched it. The game greets you, thanking you for participating in an experiment for a research facility, and to continue by answering, you press any button, being the game name. A character named AI introduces themselves as an artificially made intelligence to manage the experiment, and was created by the head of the research department, Professor Avia Antseva. AI calls this test so far boring and proceeds to turn the game into a catch falling blocks mechanic that features more gimmicks and gets progressively more difficult the farther you advance. AI gives a lot of wisdom throughout this game, like there being a certain chest, in that chest is a hare, and in that hare is a duck, and in that duck is an egg, and in that egg is a needle. Imagine yourself holding in your hands a needle that can end a person's life if broken, and this person is your enemy. Would you break it? Before having to answer yes or no, the game only going deeper from here. Once you're near wrapping this test up, AI talks about a few things, how all of the music in the background was made by AI. He apologizes for how difficult he made this test. He was angry, and feels this way when he feels hopeless before going into the subject of someone's entry from a diary that they were suffering from depression. This person being the head of the research department, Professor Avia Antseva. She never showed up in the laboratory again, AI being oblivious of what happened, taking it as something bad, and not only to herself, but AI too. AI would talk about how Avia loved dandelions. Even though they aren't considered valuable, she still loved them. Maybe someone she loved liked dandelions, or maybe she is reminded of something or someone. AI tells the participant that you are the last one before the software has to be deleted, including AI. He asks if you've enjoyed the conversations that were had as he slowly falls apart and fades away, and not giving himself enough credit for what he has done. It's at this point Zale begins to break, and I almost have as well. You have to accept the fact that this is coming to an end. Everything comes to an end. AI is not scared to go. AI seems happy he was able to experience all of this before time takes its course and AI says goodbye friend. As the music scratches and the background fills with blue, AI disintegrates, becoming unrecognizable, and the test is complete. This game itself is not extremely popular, and I'm glad I was able to find and experience it through a Don't Forget episode. Who knows, maybe there's more episodes with games just like this throughout the Don't Forget channel, like 314. But to recap, this is one of the couple Don't Forget episodes I find special to me, my personal favorites. Perhaps you may find this as one of your favorite Don't Forget episodes too, or other episodes that I've talked about throughout this video. A lot of games here can be a hit or a miss, especially for itch.io games. You can have something like this, or this. But a lot of the best ones were saved for the end. The episode 139 is the 4th year and final anniversary of when the Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other project started. Furin thinking deeper about how little time is left. Furin thanks Yellow and Table for possibly the last time before it's too late. Furin states,
Table, I don't know if you're watching this. You kinda distanced yourself from Ari and Yellow.
Around the time the Don't Forget channel was at episode 520, Table would message Ari and Yellow on Discord stating he will be leaving Discord for an indefinite period of time, unsure of when he will be back, wanting to focus on his future and hopes to be active again in the future. This was not Ari or Yellow or anybody's fault, it was Table's choice. So what does this mean? Will they still meet up? Will Table still meet up with them? And by the looks of it, no. To this day, Table still has not returned. The episodes are still dedicated to him every single day like nothing has changed, but for the most part, they're no longer in contact. This would be mentioned in the Discord server for Don't Forget a couple days later, but would not be addressed publicly directly on the YouTube channel until somewhat this episode, 139. Furin also thanks Gadget, who was an old friend that probably doesn't want to be affiliated with Ari or Don't Forget anymore for complicated reasons, but is still thankful Gadget was around. So the plan has changed. It'll likely be only Ari and Yellow meeting up. Regardless, the countdown will end. Furin boosts the Don't Forget We're Friends tradition that was made up last anniversary as a holiday on the episode 505. Furin states there will be one final Fur Talk within these 139 days later, which Furin finds scary, exclaiming they don't want to go, they don't know if they will go, and that it's complex. Furin hopes everyone that has tuned in stays after Don't Forget is over, there being many projects Ari would like to make in the future. 111 is the first podcast from Don't Forget called Don't Forget the Podcast. Or maybe the second podcast. I don't know, the Redacted game has really thrown me off. This podcast is over 30 minutes long, being an interview with Counting with Gerald, who I actually mentioned at the beginning of this video, so that's niche. 102 is a Christmas special episode, which was uploaded on Christmas Eve. Furin and Neo talk about how this will sadly be their last Christmas between each other and hopes the viewer enjoyed the Advent Calendar episodes, since there were actually 2 episodes a day for the occasion. And here we are, the end of Season 4, being named Slow Descent. The episode 95 is the last Fur Talk. From this point forward, every episode length has been raised from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, including an end screen, making these last 3 minutes more special and memorable. They definitely went all out with the rules near the end here, sort of. There was going to be more rules planned, such as every episode including subtitles or multiple audio tracks, but the amount of work to subtitle everything past this point is preposterous, and multiple audio tracks isn't attainable for everyone on YouTube yet. Ari wants this 5th and final short season to be the best. Only over 90 episodes left. They were going to make the most of it. Episodes past this point would be some special games you wouldn't see as often throughout the channel, such as the episode 93 being Surgeon Simulator, 71 being Mindwave, 64 being Super Mario 64.
It's me, Mario!
Ah, I see what you did there again. 58 being Emily is Away, 39 and 38 being Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, 34 being Wii Party, 29 being GTA 5, and so on. The episode 31 is a Dungeons & Dragons-like game that Zale made up. They find talking about this subject very interesting, so I'd recommend giving it a watch or listen sometime. Also, Redacted is here for like a frame. What if Don't Forget started 10 years earlier in 2010? It's a very random thought, but what if? In the episode 26, Zale showcases how Don't Forget probably would have went if the project did start 10 years earlier. The next 6 days would be normal episodes that fit in to look like they took place in 2010 through 2015. The comments following along as well. We're at the 25-2 episode now that was mentioned a long time ago in this video. Hope it makes sense now. Same with 10 Min RPG, since each episode now has to be at least 10 minutes long. But Zale mainly made these to showcase different RPG Maker games. I'm at the point now where these episodes are releasing as I'm editing this, and I don't really want to exclude anything special, so these last 15 episodes will be left to you all. These episodes are getting so special that the episode 13 released 51 episodes on that day. I'm not even joking, you can check for yourself and the remaining episodes left. Please do. These episodes would become more and more special the closer we get to this final day, just a month away. This channel project started on November 17th of 2020, and would be an ongoing journey for the next 1,600 days, which would be finished on April 5th, 2025. At the time of this unbearably over an hour-long video essay releasing, the clock will be at 3 days left. This project being on the pinnacle of denouement. A lot has happened in these last 1,600 days, yet this project was always going on in the background every single day. I can only imagine this project was fun, enjoyable, entertaining, but at the same time was one of the most challenging, demanding, and energizing projects to have performed. This channel at its climax has accumulated over 8,500 subscribers, and having less than 50 for nearly the first half of the project, it deserves a lot more, and I hope this video helps with that and lights a candle for what's to come. The episode 1 will be a 24-hour livestream featuring Zalep and Yellow and possibly others on April 4th. Not in real life, but as a special until the clock is at 0. There will actually be 2 live streams, 1 and 1-2, both being 12 hours long so that the VODs don't get lost. The stream will go on until the time is up, and don't forget we'll meet each other goes silent. During the summer, Zalep and Yellow will meet up, and at some point in June or July, a vlog will be uploaded to the Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other channel, truly marking the end of this remarkable voyage. There isn't a lot left to be talked about. Well, there's actually still over 95% of the channel I haven't bothered to cram into this video. I'm sure I've missed a few things, whether it's episodes featuring Neo, Fur Talks, lore, the end of the Redacted game, or Furen singing Happy Birthday to Yellow and Table every year. There's a lot to check out, and I highly recommend by the end of this to check this channel out and watch some of the content on there. Scrolling through the channel, a lot of episodes have under 50 views. Most of those views not even watching the full thing. There's a lot to discover, and in all likelihood, I've missed something important that maybe you can find. There are other things like the Don't Forget website with tons of information like the basics, frequently asked questions, about everyone, choosing a random episode, and even an episode list with particular details on every episode, which is nowhere finished, but that's like the equivalent of the final season being fully subtitled. It's a ridiculous and ludicrous amount of work for someone to do that. So, what will happen when the clock hits 0? Sure, they'll meet up if that wasn't obvious the first 1,000 times, but what'll happen to Neo? What'll happen to Furen? If you didn't catch on, Furen and Neo are fictional characters brought to life through this story, this lore. They have a personality and are a major part to the channel, but what will happen to them once this is all over? The clock will hit 0 and Neo won't have a purpose anymore. It's hinted throughout this expedition that Furen and Neo won't know what'll happen to them when this clock does hit 0. They tend to avoid the thought of it, haunted about it. It almost genuinely feels like another AI. You learn more and grow attached to these characters along the way just for what to happen to them. It's frightening and sad what could happen to them. It was something Furen and Neo never had to worry about, even the viewer. A couple years wasn't going to just fly just like that, but it did. That time is now. And I think most of us have came to our senses and accepted the fact what is going to happen, what is going to end. Over 4 years of daily uploads, broken, just like that. And in the end, we didn't forget, they'll meet each other. Summarizing Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other is no different than any other content creator on YouTube or Twitch. People like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, they've all been on YouTube for nearly a decade and a half with a lot more than 1,600 videos. And it's just these 3 YouTubers I mentioned. There's thousands more. Don't Forget We'll Meet Each Other is special because of the message behind it. It wasn't for money, it wasn't to amass a cult following, it may have been done for fun and as a social experiment, but what makes it stand out most importantly is that it was for 2 people, Yellow and Table, a countdown to when they all 3 meet up. and even if Table disassociated from it, the project never stopped and episodes were still dedicated to him. I will admire and applaud Zealp for creating this project and making the most of what they could. The episodes, the games, the specials, the characters, the lore, which really the lore factor was just to make things more interesting and compelling. I like checking the comments on completely random episodes. There's 3 different types of comments throughout this channel. 1, the new to the channel, why are your videos a countdown? Or I just found this channel, what happens when the video titles hit 0? Or what's this? Why are the videos counting down comments, which has a really simple answer if you just look at the about on the channel or the description of any episode or this video. 2, the why did I get recommended this? Is this an ARG? Or definitely an ARG. Or I feel like this is an ARG created by a artificial intelligence on my level comments, which all of this isn't really an ARG. This channel wasn't made to be or really have one. There's a bigger message as stated. And lastly, the normal rare comments you see at times like, I feel like I stumbled upon a secret among friends. Thank you for doing whatever this is, genuinely. And another cool game, Wii Gaming. And YouTube recommended this video to me. I really appreciate the recommendation algorithm pushing up small-time creators into my front page. And using this to fall asleep because your voice is very relaxing, nice stuff, found this in my recommendations, hope it gets big to see others' reaction. We need a random YouTuber to make a 3-hour documentary on this. I would like to once again thank Zealp and everyone involved with this project one last time for creating it and bringing many people together as a community and so much more. And as Zealp always says, don't forget, 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 don't forget,
Don't forget.
don't forget, 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 don't forget,
Don't forget.
don't forget, don't forget,
Don't forget.
don't forget, 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 don't forget. They'll meet each other. We didn't forget. They'll meet each other. Hi, this is like the epilogue of epilogues. I know I'm repeating myself when I say this, but I truly mean to go check out the channel. Please watch some of the videos there. They deserve a lot of this attention and not this video. I wanted to give this channel attention, and I think I've succeeded in doing that, so thank you, Zealp, for making, whatever, truly. Thank you. I directly forgot to mention this as well somewhere in this video, but Zealp will be focusing more on their main channel after Don't Forget is over, on Zealp stuff, so I'd recommend sticking around after that. Okay, bye.